PSV Eindhoven last won the Eredivisie only in 2018, so it's not too long ago, and they won it a couple of years before that, back-to-back as well. But even with that, they're in somewhat of an Ajax-dominated period. PSV had a great spell of winning the Eredivisie in the early 2000s. In that period there, they were the team in the Netherlands, but Ajax very much are at the moment. Since 2008, PSV have only won the title 3 times, while Ajax have won it 7, with the others being made up by teams like FC Twente and Feyenoord. I think that spells time for a rebuild, if I'm being completely honest with you, because clearly PSV are not the dominant team in the Netherlands. So let's get my Manchester United rebuild hat on and let's go and sort this out, shall we? Hello there and welcome to Stubo FM. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is going to be a PSV rebuild. And I'm very excited to get underway with it. If you are too, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any lovely FM content from yours truly. I'm very, very excited to get underway with this. I've always wanted to do a save over in the Netherlands. I've never really decided on a team to do it with, and while I still want to do a proper save, I thought let's start off with a rebuild with a team that you probably wouldn't expect, because although PSV seems like the obvious one, the more obvious one is a team like Ajax, or even Feyenoord, or even AZ Alkmaar. Those are the teams you'd probably think about, because the other two, Feyenoord and AZ Alkmaar, they're teams that are very rarely at the top of the table. They are the two teams in that period between 2008 and now who have won the title, along with FC Twente, other than PSV and Ajax. They are the other two teams who have won it once each. But PSV, I remember when I was first getting into football in the early 2000s, they were the team. They were the absolute ridiculous team that was just absolutely fantastic, and Ajax were the ones playing catch up. But it seems like roles have reversed now, which has happened a lot in the history, to be fair. So I feel like this is going to be the one to do, and I'm really excited to do it. Now, there's two things we want to do. Number one, we want to, not only do we want to win the Eredivisie, we do kind of want to set PSV up to develop their team further as time goes on. Now, they do have a lot of good youth players already, but we do want to try and make sure that they have got a good base of players to run with for the future. What I'd also like is some form of Champions League run. Now, that's going to be very difficult, but I do think that if we make the right investments, we could actually end up with a team that's good enough maybe to get past the group stage, maybe even get through one of the rounds of the Champions League knockouts. Who knows? I would consider getting past the first round of the knockouts a huge success if we manage to do that. But the important thing is the league. And again, with Ajax losing a lot of their crucial players, players like De Ligt, De Jong, there's more than that, but they're the two that jump into my head. It does give us an opportunity, perhaps, to pounce. Now, having said that, PSV have lost a number of their own players as well. They did have Daniel Marlin, who obviously went to Dortmund. They did also have, I think it was it Iataren? It was Iataren or Gravenberch. I always mix up those two. But whichever one of those it was, he's now at Ajax, which is really annoying after leaving for Juventus. So, yeah, we have got a lot of history to live up to in this save, and I think we can do it. I mean, look at the legends on this list. Luke Nealis, I remember him from playing at Aston Villa for like 2 games before he broke his leg. Romario, Ruud van Nistelrooy, the original Ronaldo, Gus Hiddink, Mark van Bommel, Jaap Stam, Ruud Gullit, Ronald Koeman, Arjen Robben, Philippe Cocu, Luke de Jong. Probably not that one as much, but still, you get my point. There's some absolute legends of the game who have played at this great club, and our task is to take this great club as far as we can in one season. The minimum we want to do is win the league. We don't win the league, it's a failure. Simple as that. And this is the playing squad that we have to play with. And actually, we've got a decent base of it. Now, I have already set up a tactic. I've already had a bit of a play around. And we've got a very lean squad. We've got exactly 23 players, if we include a couple of youngsters, Xavi Simons and Iggy Hoban. Hoban. Let's go with Hoban. Iggy Hoban. Exactly 23 players. So there's not a lot of fat to trim from this squad, if we're being completely honest. However, if we can find some players to move on, we will do, because we haven't got a lot of transfer budget. We've only got, the game will catch up, £8.5 million, and that's after adjusting the wage budget to get some actual spare wage budget. So we've got £82,000 per week and £8.5 million to play with. That isn't a lot of money. Now, this deal is one that was already set up, so there's not a lot we can do about that. But we look at the transfer history. There's already a lot of business done. Remember, these transfers are a combination between last season's transfers and this season's transfers because of the way the database works. So not all of these have actually happened now, but a good number of them I think have done. So a lot of business has already been done. £35 million spent with all of that, but £50 million has been made with player sales. And again, I mentioned Daniel Marlin. Denzel Dumfries has obviously left as well. Ritsu Doan has left too. Paulo Rosario. Those guys obviously were good players. And again, some of those will have been this season, some of those will have been last season. So do bear that in mind. So we don't have a lot of money, but I do think we could possibly generate some, and we could end up helping this team along. But I think actually we've got a good base. That at the moment I think is going to be our strongest 11. And I think it looks decent enough, especially our midfield, our forward line. We've got a good goalkeeper. We've got a good left back. He's getting in the way for some reason. But Luke de Jong up front, I'm very interested to see how he works. I'm kind of looking at him, if you watched my Let's Go Parma save, I'm looking at him in the Lorenzo Luca role. I'm hoping he can do a job as a deep line forward on attack, with Marco van Ginkel playing as the attacking midfielder. But we've also got this kid, Gus Till. 3.5 star potential ability, but he does look really good. He can play as a shadow striker. He's got 1 cap for Holland. I think he could do a really good job behind Luke de Jong as the shadow striker. We've seen how that worked with Karabek and Luca in the Parma side that we had, so hopefully that could work. But if not, we do have Marco van Ginkel as well. But we've got players like Cody Gakpo, Nani Madueke. If you watched my West Ham save, you will know that this man is absolutely superb. Is he actually a wonder kid? I can't remember whether he is or not. He is a wonder kid. Superb. Formerly of Tottenham, he will do a great job for us if we manage to hang on to him. But I think we've got a good base to start with, but we realistically need to look at where we want to improve. And again, £8 million isn't a lot of money, but if we can find some bargains around Europe, we can stretch £8 million quite well. So give me a moment. I'm going to have a look at the squad and see exactly what I think we need, and we'll see if there's any players that we can move on. In an ideal world, I think these are the positions we would need someone for, and there's a lot more of them than I thought there would be, to be honest with you, so I don't know how much of this we're going to get done. I think loans might be our friend in this transfer window. At the moment, I'm seeing that we need 2 central defenders and a right back, at least 1 central midfielder, and at least 1 winger. The reason for those ones are because the players that we currently have in those positions aren't necessarily the best. Now, we've got Ramalho and Branthwaite as backup central defenders. They're fine, but they will do a job for us, but they're not necessarily the best in the world in those positions. So I think if we could get 2 more in to act as either cover for these guys or as another option as well, I think we need at least 1 more first choice to go alongside Ramalho, and then Branthwaite, and then another signing could be a backup as well. Right back, we've got this guy, Jordan Teze. He's got 4.5 star potential. He's going to be a superstar, I think. He is going to grow. He is going to be really good. He is actually down as a centre-back, but he's 6 foot with 12 jumping reach. I ain't trusting that. He's going to be a right-back whether he likes it or not. So I think he's going to be our first choice right back. We're going to bring someone else in. If we can bring someone in over the top of him, I wouldn't be against it. We do have Branthwaite who can play that. And we have Kijana Hova, who is on loan from Wolves, but he is only a 2-star player at the moment. I have looked at him, but I know he does grow well. So maybe, just maybe, he can grow really quickly. So if we have got the option of bringing someone in there, we will. But if not, it's not the end of the world. And again, as I said, ideally 1 first choice central defender, 1 rotation. In terms of central midfield, Veerman's a good option. Sangare is a good option. Gutierrez will do. We really don't have that next option. We put Xavi Simons from the B team up into that, and he'll be fine if we need to use him, but I'd rather someone come in who can do a good job. Obviously, Van Ginkel could drop down there, but he's not necessarily very defensive, so I'd rather have him be in an offensive capability, if I'm honest with you. I'd rather him be in that role just there. So I think we do need to bring someone in. Ideally, a defensive-minded central midfielder would be good. And then someone to play on the right-hand side as rotation to Madueke. We've got players who can play on the left, no problem, but on the right-hand side, it is a bit of an issue at the moment. So those are the transfers I think we need. This is the system I think we're going to play with, a 4-2-3-1. We could do a 4-3-3 if we need to, but I do think a 4-2-3-1 is going to be the way to go. So I'm going to go away. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to try and get some transfers in, and then we'll join you at the end of the transfer window, and hopefully we'll have brought some players in, and I'm hoping we'll have raised some funds. Oh, that's another thing as well. Players who I'm looking to move on. Obispo, Bashagli. At the very least, these 2 to move on. And it would raise potentially about £10 million by selling the 2 of them. Bashagli's a decent enough defender, but I think we can do better. He's 5'11". He's never going to play at centre-back, and I actually think we can do better as a full-back as well. We've got Felipe, Max, and Mwene. Mwene, I would be more likely wanting to move on, but he's just joined us, so we're going to have to deal with him, unfortunately, this season. So it's going to be Bashagli who moves on, and again, Obispo, the other central defender, we're going to move on. Just not good enough for me. He can play as a defensive midfielder, but that's not enough to save him, in my opinion. So he's going to move on. and we'll see who we can bring in. Hopefully, some really talented players. That's the hope. But if we can sell those two, maybe find another player to sell in the midst of everything, we'll get at least £10 million in. Fingers crossed, that's enough to do some real damage in the transfer market. Never before have I felt so stressed out with a transfer window. Oh my word. Genuinely, it has been a struggle to build this squad. But I do think we've ended up with a team that is better than the one we started with. So that is definitely an achievement. But put it like this, we had to leave some transfers to deadline day to make sure we could potentially afford stuff. It has been that much of a stress for me to try and do this. I don't really know why, but it really has been. We'll go through the transfers one by one and we'll talk about what we've done. I'm going to let you know now, not a lot of permanent transfers, but we have brought in a fair few loans. So we are relying on that a little bit, but I'd like to think that we're doing that so we could then continue building the squad next season, have a couple less loans, doing it that way, if that makes sense. So we're going to go through the transfers that we've signed first. And I think we've definitely made the squad a lot better. So I had a bit of a rethink when we were looking at players who we needed, and I've ended up signing an attacking midfielder. Yeah. Marco van Ginkel has ended up becoming a central midfielder. He's ended up becoming one of the playmakers. So we needed someone to come in here. So we replaced one position with another position, if that makes sense. So brought in Yusuf Yazici, who is a player I've never used, but I've always noticed has done pretty well in my saves. So, he's come on in, 24 years old, he's a Turkish international, 35 caps, 1 goal, and he's looked alright so far. Not spectacular. He's had 1 assist. He has looked okay. He's taken a little while to settle into the team, but I think he's a pretty decent player who's going to do a good job for us. Fingers crossed. We brought him in for £13 million. Very little of that was up front, and that's a theme with the 2 permanent transfers that we've done. Very little was up front. I think it was something like 4 million, 5 million, something like that. And the rest of it is on installments. So hopefully that ends up being money well spent. But I do think, his value already is up to £26 million. So I do think we've signed an absolute fantastic player here who's going to help us this season. Permanent signing number 2 is Youssef Attal. We have brought this guy in from Nice. He's not necessarily played the best at the moment, but I do think he's going to get there. He's come in as a complete wing-back for us near the back, and I think he is going to be fantastic for us when we come up against some of the smaller teams. He's going to bomb forward down that right-hand side and do a job for us. He's come in for the grand total of £12.5 million, and to be honest with you, I think he looks like he's going to be good from what I've seen from him so far. Yes, he's not performed quite as well as we want him to, but he's getting there. He's getting there. He has got an injury at the moment as well, which is about to disappear, and we're not too far away from the next game of the season, so hopefully he'll be fine when it comes to that. But I think he's going to be a good player. He's 25 years old. He's got 20 caps for Algeria, 1 goal. Definitely an upgrade on the right-back situation that we had before. Very happy with it. So that last transfer went through on the 25th of July. This one went through on the 13th of August. We had a long time where we were trying to get players in, trying to sign players for as little amount of money up front as possible, and then trying to bring players in on loan as well, and it just was not working. In the end, though, we did get Nico Schlotterbeck. We brought him in from, is it Union Berlin? Is it Union Berlin? It is Borussia Dortmund, who's not showing up on this little list at all, which is a little bit weird, because that's who he's on loan from. But Borussia Dortmund is where he's from. That seems like a bit of an issue game. And we've got him on loan, and he's been good for us so far. As you can see, he's played all 3 of our Eredivisie games. He's gotten over a 7 rating, a 7.23. He's played in 1 Champions League game, got a 7.5. He's looked pretty rock solid for us so far. He's only 21 years old. He's got a bunch of under 21 caps, a couple of goals as well. Can play as a left back if we desperately need him to. He is a good centre back, and this was like a turning point because we had this black hole of a period where we were not able to get players in, and then we brought this guy in, and then the door kind of opened a little bit more as well. And through that door came Carles Perez, formerly of Barcelona and Barcelona B. We've signed him on loan from Roma. So we're paying a little bit of money. I think it's £900,000 is going to cost us for the year to sign him. He's not looked good so far, I've got to be honest with you. But I think he's a player who, once he gets fully fit, because he came to us with no match sharpness, once he gets fit, I think he'll do a good job. But he's the right winger that we wanted. He's great on the ball. He's relatively quick. He's got a decent cross on him. His passing's not too bad. Could play in the middle as well if we needed him to. I think he's going to come good, and I think he's going to be a good squad option for us. Only 23 years old. There's room for him to grow, and I think he is going to grow into a decent first-team player. I'll level with you, this one was a panic buy. We needed a central midfielder as a ball-winning midfielder, and desperately, I was looking everywhere for one, couldn't find one. Then I had a look to see whether we had any affiliate clubs, and it turns out Genk is one of them, and we signed this guy, Abue Kouassi, mainly because he has got a decent amount of potential, mainly because as well, his ability was closer to 3-star potential when we looked at him. He's ended up being 2-star, which is not ideal, so we have kind of replaced him already, if I'm being honest with you, but it's good to have him in anyway. He's here as a squad option. He'll do a decent job for us. We are paying a little bit of money over to Genk, £250,000. We could have probably done without paying that over the season, to be honest with you, but I think if we need to call on this guy, he'll do a job for us. Not sure how much of a job, but a job nonetheless. And that brings us to deadline day, and one player we didn't necessarily need was a striker, but I decided to bring one in anyway because I managed to get him in for absolutely nothing. And we saw in the Manchester United rebuild that this guy, when he's given a chance, can be absolutely deadly. Luka Jovic is in at PSV, and I am very excited to have him. He hasn't made an appearance yet because he literally joined on deadline day. We've not had a game since, but the man just looks incredible to me, to be honest with you. We know this already. I think Luka Jovic is a player that people know about. They know that he has the ability to be an absolute baller, and hopefully that is what he's going to be for us. He's come in, he's got 15 caps, 5 goals for Serbia. Again, we've signed him on loan for nothing. No fees, no wage contribution, nada. He's in, and hopefully he'll do a good job for us. I don't know whether he will. We're going to be playing him as a deep line forward on attack, the same way we're playing Luke de Jong and Carlos Vinicius. Luke de Jong hasn't played very well at the moment, by the way, but we'll get to that in a moment. But I'm hoping Luka Jovic can do well. But this was the first transfer we got over the line on deadline day, followed by the defensive midfield replacement that I was on about. We finally got in a decent one, and I'm very happy with this one. This is a proper Premier League level player, which I did not expect us to get. Timur Bakayoko is in on loan. We're not having to pay anything in terms of a loan fee. We're just paying some of his wages. We're paying £38,500 a week, which is a lot for us, by the way. But I think it's going to be well worth it. He is a solid defensive midfielder. He will do a job for us. And hopefully he will make our midfield a lot more solid against some of the teams that can do some damage against us, particularly in the Champions League. I think he's going to be really, really helpful with the experience that he's got. And then the final signing was William Saliba from Arsenal. And again, we've just got him with some wages. It's not even all of his wages. No fees whatsoever. Got him on deadline day. We were crying out for another defender. This is the defender that we got. William Saliba is in. He hasn't made an appearance, just like Bakayoko, just like Jovic, because they arrived on deadline day. Just squeezing them through the door at the last moment, and I am excited to see how all three of them do. But Saliba in particular, I think is an absolute coup. The fact that Arsenal let him go on loan, it surprises me even more than it did when I could get him with Parma. It surprises me even more. So hopefully he does a really good job for us. That is the plan. But those are all the transfers in. We've not spent a lot of money. It's £25.5 million when you just look at transfer fees that we have spent. There is a couple more million, maybe up to, I don't know, £2.5 million in total on top of that with loan fees. But that's not a lot of money. Normally I spend a lot more money than that, usually on one player. So it's the most restrained I've ever been, but it's been by necessity because we've not had a lot of money to do things with. In terms of players out, it's the classic thing. We've not been able to move players on as much, but we have moved a few on. Yorbe Vertessen, we decided to move him out. It's a shame because he's a youngster who has a bit of potential, but we decided to move him on to Leeds United, and he has gone there. He went there for the grand total of £3.3 million. Got him out, we got the wage off the bill, and that's what helps us fund some of the transfers as well. We also moved on Eric Gutierrez, which is why we signed another midfielder. We decided we didn't really need him. He's 26 years old. He's not an old man by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know, there was just something about him. He looks okay, but I felt like we could get someone in a bit more exciting, and we have done that with Yazici. And we've moved him on for, it was £2.5 million, so not a lot of money. He's worth up to more than that, nearly double that, but I think he would have been a good player for us, but I'm kind of happy that we moved him on, to be honest with you. And then the only other permanent one that was a first-teamer, in fact, I don't actually think there was anyone else who was a first-teamer. There wasn't. Everyone else was from either the B team or the youth team. So we'll talk about some of the players who we struggled to move on. The main one was Olivier Bashagli, because he'd actually signed a new contract this season before we started the game. So trying to move him on was next to impossible. We've loaned him out. His wage has been covered for the most part, and we're going to hopefully move him on either in January or it will be next season's problem, which we're not even going to be playing anyway. But we've moved him on again. 5'11" for centre-back. I just don't think in FM it works that well, especially with jumping reach of 12. I just don't think it would be worth it. And actually, we had better left-back options, so good luck to him. Hope he does well. Obispo, he's the other guy who we moved on loan. Again, same thing, signed a contract. We couldn't move him on, so we've done this instead. We've sent him out on loan again. Most of his wage has been covered by Charleroi. Sure, have fun there. And we would try, I think there might be a fee involved in that one as well, possibly. One of them might have a fee involved as well. I think everyone else is first team. He's not first team, sorry. I think everyone else who's there are youth players. So we did make some money on a couple of youth players who aren't going to do anything. This guy was in our B team randomly. 26-year-old guy who's just not going to be featuring for us at any points. Central defender is okay, but he was never going to do a job for us. So we just thought, let's move him on. Get him out. He's apparently played 19 times for PSV over the years. I don't really know how. I wouldn't have played him. He's gone. And we got £1.1 million for him. So, transfer business is done. It's left the finances a little bit on the... Not too bad, actually. To be fair, transfer budget gone. We've got no money left in the transfer budget. Wage budget, we've got £14,500 to play with. So, it's not a lot, but it is what it is. Ignore these two transfers. They're ones that didn't go through. But all of that has got the squad looking like this. And I actually think it's looking really good. One thing I have kind of realised, though, is that there is a massive gulf between us and Ajax. Ajax are such a good team. Luke de Jong has struggled so far. He has got a goal and an assist, but his ratings have not been there for the most part. He's had a couple of good games, but that's it. And it's been a struggle at times. Carlos Vinicius has had the more eye-catching performances. Obviously, we're hoping Luka Jovic can turn things around, but the squad as itself has done a good job. But there have been some performances that have let me down a little bit. But we're still trying to find some of the best positions for players like Veerman and Van Ginkel. I think Van Ginkel is going to make the deep line playmaker role his own, but he has played well as the ball-winning midfielder, even though his tackling is pretty woeful. It's under 10, in fact. From what I can remember off the top of my head, it's 8, so he's not necessarily that good at the role, but he's done an alright job there so far, to be completely honest. So I think there is definite potential for this team to do something this season, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is going to be a bit of a fail of a rebuild. However, having said that, when you look at the squad, in terms of the age of it, I do think we've got a relatively young team, especially some of the talent we've got down at the bottom here. From Branthwaite upwards, look at the amount of players we've got who are under the age of 25. 16 players in this squad under the age of 25. And then the players who are above it, there's not many. There's one who's over 30. The rest are all 29 and under. We've got a young team who, if we kept the core of it together, I think for the next couple of years would continue to grow, would continue to develop, and would potentially push Ajax if we don't win it this season. See, I'm getting the excuses out of the way already. We're not good enough, but we will be in 2 years. But it's a one-season save. And again, I know we've done a lot of loans, but my theory being we've brought in 2 permanent first-team players this season and a bunch of loans. Next season, we'd bring in a bunch of loans, but probably 2 less, and bring 2 permanent players in. We'd do that the season after and the season after until we have the squad that we want. And by that point, hopefully, we're going to be getting some more Champions League money in, and we've got a bit more money to spend on some better players. Hopefully. Let's look at the results that we've had so far, shall we, before we accelerate further forward. So, we did start the season with the Champions League. We did have some of the qualifying rounds that we had to go through. So, started with Dynamo Kiev. We did have to get through that. So, we won the first leg 1-0 thanks to Marco Van Ginkel. And then we scraped through the second leg with a draw. So we had 2-1 on aggregate to get through to a game against Rangers. And it was kind of a very tough game, this one. It makes me a little bit worried about the group stage. We had a 1-1 draw, and then we won it on penalties, which was tense. Very tense indeed. And that did get us through to the group stage, which is against Bayern, Sevilla, and Dinamo Zagreb. That ain't going to be easy. That's not going to be easy in the slightest. I think we are going to get absolutely battered by Bayern. I think, to be fair, I say that. We didn't get battered by them in pre-season, and we did play them 3-2 in pre-season, so who knows? Maybe I'm wrong on that. I've got a feeling I'm not, though. But we have a chance of getting through that group. I think Sevilla are the team we need to be looking at and thinking, we've got a chance to get past you. If we don't, we've got to be looking at the Europa League and thinking we've got a good chance at a deep run in that. If we don't have a deep run in that, we've done something wrong. Cue both of the other rebuilds that I've done where we've done terribly in Europe. So take what I say with a pinch of salt. The only concerning thing was, I mentioned about Ajax. We did get battered by them in the... I'm assuming this is their version of the Community Shield. Any Ajax fans, any Eredivisie fans who are out there, please tell me if I'm wrong on that. I'm assuming that's what this is. we got a little bit shellacked by them, and it was quite depressing if I'm being completely honest with you. But since then, we've started the season rather well. We've had 2 wins and a draw, which is the same as all of the other teams at the top of the table. So there's 4 of us currently on 7 points. Feyenoord, Ajax, Utrecht, and us. And Madueke is one of the top goal scorers in the league with 3 goals, which is delightful. He's done really, really well so far. But I'm happy with the transfers. But again, if you look at Ajax's squad, if we have a quick look at it, I think if you look at their team, I mean, Alvarez, Deli Blin, Timber, Wijndal, Klaassen, Iataren, former player of ours, by the way, Iataren, Berghuis, Tadic, Anthony, Bergwijn, they've got Broby, they've got Univar, they've got Stecklenburg, they've got Hatterboer, who they've signed, Wrench. They've got some players. They really have got some players who are worth a lot of money, and we really do not. We've got some good youth players, but our squad, in the nicest possible way, I mean, our most valuable player is Luka Jovic, who's on loan, to be fair, but the one that we own is 32 million, or Madueke at 38 million. Yeah. We'll see how we do. We're going to accelerate forward to the halfway point of the season, as we have done in the Manchester United rebuild, and we'll see how we do there. I have no idea how this is going to go. I really don't. I've got a horrible feeling this might not be the most successful of rebuilds. But you know what? Let's have some fun while we're doing it anyway. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we've gone all the way through to the 1st of January. And good news, everybody. We're winning the league. I'm a bit surprised, actually. I definitely thought it would be Ajax ahead of us and we maybe would be in second. But as it stands, not only are we winning the league, we're unbeaten as well. I've just realised that as I've clicked record. So I'm reacting to this for the first time along with you guys. But yeah, we are top of the table. 14 wins, 4 draws, no losses. Ajax just behind us. Worth pointing out, they have got a game in hand. So they're on 41 points at the moment with 13 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. So they have got that one game in hand, which if they win, they will go to 44 points. So we are, if you think about it like this, we're net 2 points ahead, assuming Ajax win their game. In terms of stats with the players, we're not on the top goal scorer list in the top 3, but Luka Jovic is there on number 5, so it looks like he's been our starting striker, I would imagine. Dusan Tadic is the best player in the league, Felipe Max. Felipe? Where's Felipe come from? Does he look Spanish to you? Philip Max is 3rd. And he's also 2nd on the assist chart, which, considering his left back, is pretty good going. We've also got Walter Benitez, who is joint 2nd on the goalkeeper charts, 1 behind PSV, who is the Ajax goalkeeper. In terms of the players, if we have a look at the people who've made the most appearances, funnily enough, it's our goalkeeper, Walter Benitez. He has made the most, 13 clean sheets from 28 games. That's not a bad return, for being honest. I love the fact he's made 3 assists. That is awesome. I love that. Next to him is Marco van Ginkel, 4 goals, 2 assists in 25 starts, 3 substitution appearances. Romalho at defence, I'm assuming it's a defence anyway, he's played 26 times, he's scored a goal for us, he's been, well, I say solid at the back, he's not been that good to be honest with you, he's been okay. Cody Gakpo, however, who, as I'm recording this, is being linked with Manchester United alongside Anthony from Ajax. 22 years old, he is doing very well indeed, 24 starts, 6 substitution appearances, 10 goals, 4 assists. That will do. That'll do plenty. Philip Max, as we mentioned, is going to be one of the players who's been playing a lot of football with 12 assists in total. Is pretty good going. Yazici, not performed as well as I would have liked to have seen from our star man who we signed in the summer, but 28 appearances in total, a couple of goals, a couple of assists. He'll get into the team as time goes on. Noni Madueke, we know how Noni Madueke is. We know he's a good player. We know he can develop into a good player. 22 starts, 4 assists. 22 starts, 4 substitution appearances, 6 goals, 3 assists. So he's doing a very good job as well. Yusuf Fatal at right back. Again, not particularly brilliant, but he's doing an okay job. Got a couple of assists. And Luka Jovic, 21 starts, 11 goals, 3 assists. He has had a very good start to his career at PSV. Schlotterbeck looks like he's played a bunch of football as well, as does Bakayoko. 19 and 18 starts respectively from either of them. Veerman looks like he's played a decent amount of football. Not started every game, but he's certainly been involved quite a bit. So that's same as Saliba, and I'm surprised Saliba hasn't started more games than that, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Mwene's played. Luke de Jong has not, though. He has started 7 times with 7 substitution appearances. Only 4 goal contributions in total, 3 goals, 1 assist. He feels alienated. I can understand why. Because he is the captain of the club and he hasn't played a lot. Hopefully, he'll be able to play a part further into the season, but he's obviously not happy. He's asked to leave, in fact. Jordan Teze Not looking the happiest either, it's worth looking at. He's supporting his teammates. Apparently, we've not treated him very well. I mean, we've not been here, so we definitely haven't. But that's all looking all right to me, to be honest with you. A couple of unhappy chaps. A few players in the kind of the medium category, you could say. Have a look at the dynamics. Cohesion's good. Atmosphere's good. Managerial support is very good. I'll take that. I'll absolutely take that. Kouassi, Atal and Vinicius are not the happiest. They're concerned. Fine for violent conduct against Feyenoord. Well, he shouldn't have done violent conduct then, should you, Youssef? Goodness me. And then we've got two players who are asking to leave. It's Sangare and Luke de Jong. So, be interested to see whether we still have them at the end of January. Of course, we won't be playing through the end of January. We will be substituting or simulating through. My head, what's going on? In terms of the schedule, these are the results. In fact, before we do that, let's have a quick look. Champions League-wise, we made it through the group stage. Get in there, boys. Good times. So, let's have a look at how we actually did in the group stage. So, if we just look at all groups and scroll down, in fact, with the first group. So, let's have a look at Group A in more detail. Group A. So, we finished second in the group. 3 wins, 3 losses. Interesting. So, Zagreb and Sevilla both having absolute shockers in the group stage. Bayern obviously beating everyone because it's Bayern Munich, but we are the team who get through. It's not even like we snuck through. We're a full 5 points clear of both Zagreb and Sevilla. And it's Zagreb who go through to the Europa League. Sevilla knocked out of Europe completely. My goodness. Wouldn't have expected that, I've got to be honest with you. I would have put Sevilla to be second or third, and I thought we were definitely at a risk of getting knocked out. But knocked out we have not been. And we have got Marseille in the next round. So, I did say it would be quite nice if we could have a bit of a run in Europe. We've already gone past the board expectation. That makes me very happy, I have to say. That makes me very happy indeed. In terms of the league table, let's just have a quick look at the extended league table. So, I just want to look at the goal difference. So, we've actually got a better defence than Ajax. But they have scored more goals than us. And again, they do have that game in hand. So, watch this space. But that looks like a very good first half of the season to me. Again, 1st of January, we played over half the games. It's 17 games for the first half of the season. So we played 1 game more. So we are definitely doing well. Have a look at the finances. Decent amount of money in the bank. We've made a profit of 12 million this season, nearly 13. Not a lot of money left in transfer and wage budgets, but they don't really matter. What matters is we've got a good amount of money in the club, and we are looking like we're being successful. Right. Well, we'll carry on, shall we? Let's simulate towards the end of the season, and let's see whether we can convert this first place into an Eredivisie title. Hopefully we can, otherwise that's been a bit of a waste of a video really, hasn't it? That is what you call job done. Eredivisie completed. We have won the title. We didn't go unbeaten in the end. 1 loss against NEC of all teams. NEC who finished in 14th place. Yeah. But doesn't matter because we won. That's the main thing. We won by a full 9 points in the end as well. Ajax in the end nowhere near us towards the end. Goal difference was still higher than us. I'm going to assume that is goals scored. Oh my words. Let's have a look at that league table. So, yeah, goals scored. They scored 10 more goals than us, but we conceded 8 less than them. So we were definitely better defensively. So made sense bringing players like Saliba in. He definitely made a difference, as did Schlotterbeck. They definitely did a good job for us. Unastal at 20, actually with the highest clean sheets in the league, but Benitez finished above PSV for clean sheets, finishing second with 17 to PSV's 16. Felipe Max, again, I keep calling him Felipe. His name's not Felipe. He's not Spanish. Philip Max ended up being the 3rd best player in the league at 7.44. We had no one in the top 3 of goals scored, but we did have Luka Jovic on 4th with 17 goals in the league. So we obviously did a decent enough job. In terms of assists, let's have a quick look. I'm choking on my own success there. Felipe. His name's Philip. Stu. His name's Philip. Philip Max. 10 assists from left back. Good job, sir. Very happy. Atal got 6 as well from fullback. None of our midfielders in there, which is a bit unusual because we have got a playmaker in there. But hey-ho, not going to complain how we won the league. Just going to be happy that we did it. Looking at the most appearances, it is going to be Walter Benitez, our goalkeeper, our legend. 23 clean sheets in 48 appearances. Great job. And Marco van Ginkel, the Chelsea man who spent so long on loan at Chelsea and just never could get a game. Ended up playing 50 times for us, 47 starts, 3 substitution appearances, 9 goals, 6 assists. He did a very good job. Overall rating wasn't that great, but he did a good job for us. We know Philip Max did a great job. He got 7 goals as well, which is good to see. He is one of our penalty takers, to be fair. Good to see Cody Gakpo get a lot of game time as well. A 7.1, 14 goals, 9 assists. Good return all around. And again, Luka Jovic with 43 appearances in total, 22 goals, 7 assists. Noni Madueke with 7 assists as well. 46 games played, 12 goals, and those 7 assists as we mentioned. Schlotterbeck did a good job as well. Got an assist in there and 3 goals. Yazici did turn things around a little bit. 8 goals, 4 assists. Still not the best rating in the world, but I feel like if we played the second season, which we're not going to, he would definitely do a good job for us. The loan of Tamue Bakayoko definitely paid off as well. 39 games started, 1 substitution appearance, got a couple of assists. But he looks like he did a good job as that brick wall in front of the defence. We know Atal did well as well with 34 appearances from the start, 5 substitution appearances, no goals, but he did get 7 assists. And Willie Saliba doing a great job on loan from Arsenal, 37 games in total, a goal and a couple of assists as well. Veerman did well for us, Romalo did well for us, both of those guys with 27 starts, 17 for Mwene, 17 for Teze as well. Perez didn't necessarily play a lot of football, but he came in and was a very good option off the bench, which is kind of what I wanted. 4 goals, 3 assists for him is definitely good. Mara Jr. definitely not playing as much football as I think he would have wanted to play. However, still, 1 goal, 3 assists, played a part. Luke de Jong definitely didn't have a good time, did he? Got completely replaced by the man known as... Where has he gone? I've completely lost his name. Where is he? There he is, Luka Jovic. Completely replaced by him and only got the 3 goals and the 1 assist in 16 appearances. Not good enough, quite frankly. Branthwaite did his job, came in, covered when he needed to. Gus Till definitely wants to leave, didn't have a nice time. Neither did Carlos Vinicius, and neither did Ibrahim Sangare, who's a permanent player anyway. Definitely not happy that he didn't play much football. But Drommel did okay, Simmons did okay, 1 substitution appearance for Hoban, and Giocanna Hova made that 1 substitution appearance as well. So I want to say we've done very well in the league there, very well in the league. Now, the fact that there's no fixture scheduled, I think means we didn't make it through to a Champions League final. I'm not going to be too critical of the boys for that, but let's see just how we did. So, we got knocked out in a quarter-final by Liverpool. That is pretty good going. For us to get through to a quarter-final, I'll take that. And it's the finalists, Liverpool, as well. Liverpool versus Barcelona in the final. What a game that will be, but we ended up getting knocked out in the quarter-final. And Real Madrid got knocked out. Real Madrid knocked out PSG. Bayern got knocked out by Barcelona. Man City knocked out Inter. Let's have a look at the semi-final as well. So it was Real Madrid who got knocked out by Liverpool and Man City who got knocked out by Barcelona. So all good fun, all good fun. I'm not too unhappy about that, if I'm honest with you. Finished up in the runner-up of this competition to Ajax, funnily enough. So this is their version of the FA Cup, I think. And yeah, finished seconds. Do you know what? I'll take that because we won the league. The main thing was the league, and we've ended up dominating Ajax, even though they beat us for 2 competitions. We reached the final, which is what they wanted us to do in this competition. They didn't care about this competition, which I think is their version of the Community Shield. And we absolutely overachieved in the Champions League as well. So I think we have to count that as a very successful season. Financially, £20 million gained. Got no transfer budget whatsoever. There will be a transfer budget of 6.41 million, which is not very much. But hey-ho, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But I think the club has done really well. I think we've succeeded where we've needed to. Again, reminding ourselves of these transfers. Our transfers started from here, from Yazici downwards, obviously. In fact, let's do it this way. If we do it in reverse date order. So Yazici upwards. So those are our transfers in. I think when you bear in mind, we've spent just over £25 million on permanent transfers. We brought in 6 loan players, which is a lot of loan players. But I think this summer, the plan would be very simple. Loan players go. We try to get as many of them as back as possible. We would sell Luke de Jong. We would sell... Oh, what's his name? The kid who's been brought in, Gus Till. We'd sell him. We'd move him on as well. And then with that money, we'd replace 2 of these loan players. Maybe we'd bring a couple of them in if we could. But we replace 2 of them and then loan in 4 players. And we would replace them season by season, building the squad up. And then hopefully doing better and better, earning more money, getting bigger transfer budgets. And then we could start to replace the team as we go on as well. That would be the plan. But that is not the plan because we're not doing another season. So I am considering this a success. We've won the league. That's what we came in here to do. So the question now becomes, what do we do next? Well, we've done PSV, we've done Manchester United, so we've done England and we've done the Netherlands. So let's do another country, shall we? And I'm feeling like, let's have a go in Spain. I'm not going to tell you which club it is. It's not going to be one of the big 3, but it's going to be a club that probably should be considered one of the big three, and for years was considered one of the top clubs in Spain, that has fallen on hard times in the last few years. They've had a bit of a resurgence a couple of years ago, but they're certainly not where they need to be. So let's see what we can do to try and resurrect their fortunes. But until then, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any lovely FM content from yours truly. I've been Stubo, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.